Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It is me, Haley, and today we are going to be doing episode 2 of my For Those Who Overshare podcast. So today's podcast video is going to be a little impromptu. We are going to be discussing Love is Blind. We're going to be discussing the couples on there, the toxicity, the drama, all the things. I had another video planned for today. I was going to talk about toxic diet and gym culture today. If you guys want to see that, leave me a comment down below and I can do that for episode 3. But I just really wanted to talk about something less heavy today. So we know Love is Blind is on Netflix. We're only about halfway through the latest season, at least in the USA. But I thought we could talk about the episode so far, make some predictions possibly, and just chat about it. I got the inspiration from this video from a woman named Steph Anya on YouTube. She is a licensed marriage and family therapist, and if you guys didn't know, I actually have my degree in psychology, so I love her videos. I find them extremely interesting, educational, informative, but also entertaining. So I will link her channel down below. She was my inspiration because I love watching her breakdowns of Love is Blind. Now, my take on that video is gonna be a much more lax discussional video. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, which is nothing compared to a master's in psychology, so I'm not qualified to make any diagnoses or assumptions, but I do have my fair share of knowledge on abusive / toxic relationships, and kind of the inner workings of that. But mainly this is for entertainment, right? We are going to pretend that none of this is edited, none of this is fake, and we're just going to pretend these are regular schmegular relationships. We're going to preface it as if nothing has been edited. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to name a couple. I'm going to discuss each individual in the couple, give a word to describe that person, and then talk about the couple individually. So with that being said, if you guys are new to my channel, if you like podcasts, ASMR, vlogs, and other lifestyle videos, please subscribe to my channel down below. We're trying to get this channel to 1,000 subscribers, and I do all kinds of content on here, so I would love to have you. So please subscribe down below and like this video if you would like to see more from me. Alright, let's jump into the video. So the first couple we're going to start out with is Clay and AD. So Clay is someone who started off very strong. Most of the people in the show are in their 30s. I believe Clay is like 30 or 31. The word that I would use to describe Clay is, personally would honestly describe Clay in one word as egotistical. He even mentions that he has an ego problem in the pods. He just seems like he has a very fragile ego, and it seems like he can't help but talk about himself in order to kind of feed his ego. He wants others to feed it as well. I think he has a good heart. I am warming up to him as the episodes go by. I think he just has some insecurity issues. He has a fragile ego, and I don't think it's healthy to be in a relationship that way because your partner isn't there to just feed your ego. But I think he's a good guy so far. I just think he has a lot to work on. He needs to humble himself a little bit. obviously in the pods, he wanted to make sure that AD was fit, looking right, had a big butt, nice lips, all the things. And if he would have just shut up, kept his mouth shut, he would have been a happy guy. But he made himself look bad, and sometimes that's how it goes. Like, sometimes you kill your own excitement, joy, and blessings by acting before you even know what's going on. And I think he did that with AD. Like, she's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman, and he could have had a beautiful woman without making himself look like a jerk. Something that made me appreciate him a little bit more was the situation with Laura at the meetup, when Laura was like talking about the bean dip thing and Clay didn't overreact. He was chill about it. He kind of stood his ground, like, oh yeah, I didn't like that, but he didn't overreact. So I did like that. I liked that he was just like, yeah, weird, and like moved on. Because on the flip side, Laura like stayed mad about that because she was embarrassed, and it was like weird. But I appreciated that Clay was just like, oh yeah, that offended me, and then proceeded to like be fine. Like, he just got it off his chest and he was fine. But then he had another point kind of docked off when he was talking with his mom and sister about his schedule, and he was kind of just being rude, in my opinion, to AD at the dinner with his mom. I felt like that whole conversation was just odd, because why are you doubling down on the fact that you're not coming home? I mean, you're in an experiment where your job is to get to know this person. I mean, I understand not wanting to set like unrealistic expectations for marriage, like not setting the expectation that he would come home if he wasn't going to, but I think that a lot of these people have the issue of like wanting to get married but not really wanting to behave like a married person. Those two just can't coexist. But overall, I think he's an okay guy. He just has some like ego issues to work on. And now moving on to AD. I think AD is mature. I really like AD. Everybody has their quirks, but I really like AD. I think her only flaw really is that, if you would even call it that, is that she's not always a girl's girl. But I think that in terms of like with Laura, I think that kind of called for that. Like, I think Laura, in the situation of like the bean dip thing, I think AD was still in the right. But I would say that's the only little thing I've caught about her. I also think that, like, I feel like AD has a good balance of standing up for herself. She stands her ground calm and respectfully, but she stands her ground, and I really like that about her. She's not going to like submit. She's not super submissive, but she's not gonna like lay you in the ground and like cuss you out either. I really like the way she handled the bean dip situation. She defended Clay in like a very respectful, like womanly way. She was like, no, like Clay doesn't need to calm down. I just think he didn't understand and appreciate the joke. When Laura like low-key insulted him and low-key told her that Clay needed to chill, she was like, no, that's weird. Not verbatim, but it's weird to tell another man to touch my body. I think she played it cool about so many different people low-key like trying to fetishize her body. I think she played it cool. I would not have played it that cool. But I think she stood up for herself and Clay really well in that interaction with the bean dip situation. I just think, again, like, she's having to deal with being fetishized by creepy white men and creepy white people, and it's unfortunate and annoying on her part, I'm sure, but she's really mature, she's really intelligent. I really like her, I really do. I think her personality is like a breath, like a drink, like a fresh drink of water. I think she sits there and allows Clay to talk about himself, and she's like understanding and yada yada yada. But again, my favorite thing about her is her polite and like dignified way of standing up for herself, while also, like, I really liked in the pods when Clay was like saying that he needed a girl with a big butt and big lips and whatever. She knew that she had all those attributes, but she was not gonna tell him that, and she would rather have lost him than to feed into that and be kind of materialized in that way. So I really, really like AD. I do think she overall deserves someone better than Clay. I like Clay. I just think for him to be his age and have so much that he needs to work on, I feel like him and AD are not in the same emotional place, and I feel like he may end up, before he gets to AD's emotional maturity level, he might put her through a lot of turmoil to get there, and I don't know that she knows that. Or if maybe she does. She called herself Captain Save-A-Ho, I believe, so that's up to her, but I do think she deserves someone on that same emotional wavelength as her. Okay, next we're gonna talk about Laura and Jeremy. So this couple started off a slow, easy ride, and they blew up. So one word I would use to describe Jeremy is odd. I think I would describe him as odd. Jeremy, I really liked Jeremy at first. In the pods, I didn't really notice Jeremy a lot. I thought he was alright, I guess. Like, no major red flags, no major green flags. I think the first time I even noticed Jeremy was in the argument between himself and Laura. He kind of didn't exist to me, I guess, before then. Like, he was just like non-noticeable. That argument itself, it was just odd. I think, and we'll get to Laura in a second, but I think it was very odd of her to even bring that up to Jeremy. Like, you don't bring up girls' conversations to a man and like think it's the same thing. So I thought it was weird that maybe they were drunk, I don't know. I think it was even weirder that not even weirder, but it was also weird that he took it upon himself to tell them the joke, tell AD, Clay, and whoever else was there the joke about bean dipping AD. Very weird for him to share that information. He probably didn't know what the crap it was. He was probably like, yeah, she told me to do that. Like, oh my gosh. But like, why are you snitching on your partner? Like, I don't get that. But also, it was weird that she said that. That whole thing is weird. I haven't heard about bean dipping since I was literally in 7th grade. Maybe 6th grade. Very odd to repeat that information. Like, do you not have the social awareness that that's a weird thing to say to another woman and his man? You're talking about how your fiance told you to touch another woman's breast, and you think it's okay to repeat that? Okay, whatever. That's odd. But I think afterwards, I'm not gonna lie, I do think he handled it really well. Laura overreacted for sure about something she said. Yeah, it's a joke, but we're not 7.5 years old. And I think that when the next day, when they were sitting like on the dock and discussing it, I think she was just drilling into him, arguing, and I think he handled those arguments really well. He admitted he was wrong, he admitted it was childish, he admitted that the way that he ignored her the night before was not conducive to a future marriage. Like, he admitted all of that, and I think that was great. I think he handled it great. I'm like, yeah, that was stupid. It was also wrong of me, the way I reacted that night, like all of that. I think he handled that well. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I'm gonna tell you guys what I think happened after that. Well, I'll tell you guys after I talk about Laura. So let's move on to Laura now. Laura, the word I have to describe her is abrasive. Don't get me wrong, I love Laura. I feel like I am Laura. She's a Virgo woman. Clay's a Virgo man. Very different thing. Isn't Kenneth a Virgo? Kenneth, we'll get there. Laura is very abrasive. I love her, but she's abrasive. I just have to be honest. So, she was pretty cool in the pods. I think I liked her a lot in the pods. I liked her a lot in the beginning in general. But again, that night when they met with all of the other couples, why would you tell your mans that? Why would you tell your mans to go bean dip, touch the breast of another woman, even as a joke? Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Even if you were just like, hey, we have this joke about bean dipping, haha, that's different. But you're saying, oh, you should go do it, you should go do it. Weird. I'm sorry, I don't care. That's weird behavior, especially for 30-something-year-old folks. That's weird. So, Laura, now I'm looking at you kind of funny, because for someone so uppity in some ways, as we learn in episodes after that, you're acting pretty childish. But I think the worst part about that night was her reaction. She made a joke, and she doubled down on the fact that it was a joke, and she got mad because he repeated her joke. But she should have never said it to him in the first place. Truthfully, I think she was embarrassed that he said it out loud to their friends. But again, you don't even really know him. Like, why are you repeating? Like, why are we doing that? Why'd you even say that? You shouldn't have said it then. I know they're drinking, whatever, but you should never get mad about someone else repeats if you didn't want it repeated. You shouldn't have done it. We all make mistakes, but I just don't understand. Okay, yeah, it was a stupid joke, so we'll move on. It was a stupid joke. why did she react so aggressively? Why? I want to know. Why did she react so aggressively to her man and Clay? She said, well, Clay needs to chill out. Girl, no, he don't. You do. So her reaction was crazy, scary, weird, all the things. Like, why? And why are you, like, now you're embarrassed, so you're calling out your man because you're embarrassed he said that. You're gonna act like it's his fault for repeating it, and now you're mad at Clay too for being like what? Like, why are you being so aggressive? Just say, oh my god, I'm sorry, that was a stupid joke. Everyone would have forgiven you and walked away and y'all would have been fine. But you wanted to overreact. Like, that's so childish. And then she talked so much crap about her man that when they were trying to mingle, like, later on, he was like, I want to go home. Because you were rude. You were scary rude about your own stupid joke that you shouldn't have freaking did. You shouldn't have freaking said. And then the next day, I guess he ignored her like the whole night before. So she came for blood the next day. She was like, she wasn't like aggressively rude, but she kept explaining like her feelings. And he was like, sorry. He was honestly like, I'm sorry, I understand, like I shouldn't have behaved that way, I shouldn't have said I wanted to go home, I shouldn't have ignored you the whole night. So Jeremy was like apologizing, he was doing the right thing, he was saying, you know, I shouldn't have done that, da 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 da. Laura keeps on and on and on. Like, okay, let his apology be enough, let's talk about something else now. But she kept being like, yeah, but just so you understand, yeah, so this, I still felt like this, da 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 da. We get it, Laura. We get it. The man said sorry. Okay? He said it's sorry, do better. Now just let him do better. I've been guilty of that in the past. But it's like, I don't know. Just let yourself be heard, girly. Let's move on. So in that way, that's kind of why I'm saying she's abrasive, is like she is just like out for blood. And that's great and all, but it's just not good in a relationship. I mean, her own father said that if you let her, she will walk all over you. And then that brings me to when they met each other's family. I honestly think after that, Mans was like, I'm about to go get Sarah. I'm about to go get her. Now, I will say, I think it maybe happened before then, though. After their first fight, he probably said that. Because he mentioned to somebody, I forget who it was. It may have been... Was it AD? Why is everybody just explaining all their feelings to AD? I think he was saying that he would like to talk to her. So, whatever. I think after that first fight, he was like, oh, did I make the wrong decision? Like, this person is like, doesn't even like me. But anyway, so yeah, when they went to meet her parents, all she did the whole time was criticize him, criticize his Hawaiian shirts. Her mom and sister-in-law were angels during that. They were trying to humble her and be like, you know, that's cute that he has the, you know, he likes Hawaiian shirts. Like, even if you don't think it's cute, you should appreciate the fact that he has something that he enjoys and gets joy out of, and that should bring you joy as someone that loves him. And that is true in relationships and love. I've been with my fiance for almost a decade now, and there are definitely things each other does that we don't actually like. He doesn't like ASMR, but he loves that I do it because it brings me joy. So like, the fact that you're just hating on him because he likes Hawaiian shirts, I mean, that's just an example. But But his sister-in-law and mom were just extremely insightful and like trying to help her, but she would not listen. All she wanted to do was attack him and tear him down and criticize him, because I think she was low-key like already over him. And she kept going off and on and on about icks. And that's what I'm saying. I don't understand why people go on this show, especially a show where love is supposed to be blind, and you're so picky. Like, you're never gonna be able to be with anyone, girly. Nobody is perfect. Nobody has every single thing. Everyone can give you the ick. You know how many times my fiance has given me the ick? But I'm like, that's so freaking cute. A lot. It happens. If you're gonna be that picky, be picky about things that are important. Be picky about the way they're treating you, not about what they wear. So I think Laura is just a lot. She's just a lot, and I think she's doing too much. And she's abrasive. I love her. I will say though, so I think that Jeremy had his eye on Sarah Ann and wanted to meet up with her. And I think that, again, like after they had been fighting, I think he immediately regretted his decision, and that's why he went to go talk to Sarah Ann. He was like, oh no, I think he just knew Laura wasn't for him. So I believe that he went and talked to Sarah Ann. I will say, Laura ate in that argument. I really loved, I mean, I guess it's manipulative, but I really love the way she gave him the opportunity to explain himself, that he was gone all night and he didn't come home. She gave himself the opportunity to bury himself in a lie, and then called him out on his lie. I think she handled that very well. I think for cheaters, there should be no remorse, there should be no softness. So I think her reaction in that case was very appropriate. Like, he deserved every bit of what he got for that. Especially, like, if you're over her, just say that. And I really liked that she, like, broke up with him. I mean, it ended on a cliffhanger, we don't know for sure. But, I did like the way that she handled that. I think I liked the way that she was, like, gonna let him talk and kind of just nail himself in the coffin. So, yeah, I love the way that she handled that. I think she's a boss for that. But again, she could just be a little bit much. Alright, enough talking about them. Let's move on to our next couple, Amy and Johnny. Again, I don't have much to say about Amy and Johnny. They're just angels. They're angels. They're so cute together. Their souls seem to align together. The only thing that sucks is that Amy was saying, like, culturally, if her dad didn't give his blessing for Johnny, then she doesn't know if she could marry him. I think that sucks. It stinks. I understand it. Like, everybody has a different culture, but I really think it would just really suck to find your person and not be able to marry them because your dad didn't give their blessing. I understand it, but that would just really suck as a person. My boyfriend comes from another culture than I do, and it would just suck if I couldn't marry my fiance due to our cultural differences. I think having respect for one another's culture is important, and kind of even trying to assimilate each other's cultures in your lives. But it would really stink to not be able to marry someone for that reason. So I hope that that's not the case in their relationship, but we will see. Amy is a beauty. Honestly, everyone on this season is extremely beautiful. But I just love Amy. I think she's a sweetheart. And I love her. they're honestly super cute together. I don't know. I mean, they haven't had any fights or anything yet, so we don't know how they react in arguments or fights. We haven't gotten a chance to see that, to see if there is any toxicity going on or possibly, potentially going on. So with that, I'll just say that's to be determined. Words to describe them, I would describe Amy as soft and gentle in a good way. Not like she's soft, like, oh, she's soft and gentle and everything, like everything sugar spice, everything nice. I think she's a beautiful soul. And Johnny, I think he's the female version of her. I think they're super wonderful together. Okay, so that's that. Moving on to Jimmy and Chelsea. First of all, Chelsea, this experience was about if love is blind or not. Why are you telling him you look like Megan Fox? That's not what this experience is about. I think she was reaching on purpose with that comment because she wanted him to think that she was pretty. I'm not saying she's not pretty, but I think she was trying to be competitive in that and try to win out because she knew that Jessica wanted him too. I think she was very, very manipulative when she said that. I think Johnny's an idiot for falling for it and letting that be a decider of his decisions and letting that lead the way. Not that that led the whole way, but whatever. Like, why would you say that? Why would you say that? What other reason would you have for saying that? I think Chelsea is the word I would use to describe Chelsea. I feel like everyone would agree is insecure. She's very insecure. I think Chelsea in the pods was a great person. I would have chosen Chelsea. She was a great person. I think that Trevor would have been so about her. I don't know why she didn't choose him. He said he loved her. She was the only one that he wanted. Like, why did she do that to herself? I have no idea. I think the reason that she chose Jimmy is because she knew Jessica wanted Jimmy. I think it was more competitive than anything. I think she didn't appreciate Trevor because she was the only one he wanted, and she wanted to be competitive. I really do think that. Chelsea, yeah, she's kind of crazy. Yeah, she's kind of crazy. I like Chelsea, don't get me wrong. Like, as a friend, I think she'd be a cool friend. But I think she just, like, reeks of insecurity. And it's so, so bad. Like, I think the comment that she made to AD, first of all, Jimmy, we'll talk about him in a second. I think the comment that she made to AD about, like, yelling and calling Jimmy out for saying that she was stacked, I think that was weird. I think they were both weird for that. But to call out AD and say that, make AD feel weird. Why'd you do that? Weird. It's weird. All of it's weird. Why'd you tell him? She literally said, no, you can say whatever you want. No, he can't. Why'd you tell him that? No, he can't. There are rules. There are boundaries in a relationship. Why'd you tell him that? I have no idea. I wish my man would say something like that. And I wish I would say, you can say whatever you want. The freak. Anyways, I can tell I'm getting sleepy because I'm getting dramatic. I think that was wild. That was wild of her to say that, for sure. And I think that the more and more time goes by, the more insecure she's getting. Obviously, we don't know what's happening off camera, but again, we're pretending that nothing's like edited out. I think that Jimmy is like literally doing his best to reassure her, although it's kind of hard because he already made so many comments that they would make me insecure too. Like, I'm not saying Chelsea's wrong in being insecure. I think that it's just coming out more and more, and she's making it worse for herself because she is acting clingy, and she is like, she's probably giving him the ick. First of all, you said you look like Megan Fox and you lied, which is her fault. That's her fault. Why'd you say that? Second of all, she is just coming off like, again, like a very insecure. Jimmy has definitely been inappropriate, but like, stand up for yourself. Don't make it worse. And then now, like in the last episodes or whatever, she's just like crying and like saying he doesn't do anything, he doesn't kiss her, he doesn't love her, he's not doing anything. Just like constantly bombarding him with everything he's not doing right. I think she's insecure because she knows that he could like see Jessica. She knows that Jessica wanted him. And so she's insecure. But girl, why'd you do that to yourself then? Why didn't you pick Trevor? We know you liked him more. Just kidding, I don't actually know that, but whatever. Yeah. Chelsea is also, I want to see if anyone else peeped this. In the episode where they met Barbara, they met his friends. First of all, Jimmy, why are the people that she's meeting two female friends that you've only known for a couple years? I think that was disrespectful of him. Like, where's your mom and dad? Where's your sister? Where's your aunt? Where's your male friends? Why am I meeting two beautiful women? But did y'all catch how Chelsea made like this sexual comment about how they were like doing it or whatever to them? I don't know if y'all know this or not. She was trying to assert territorial dominance over Jimmy and that's what people do when they're insecure. Yeah. She was insecure that he had two female friends, so she started asserting her dominance by talking about their intercourse. I don't know if y'all caught that, but I did. And I also caught, honestly, I'm living for Barbara. She was the one with the black top on. She was like, does he cry? He's a crier. She was low-key hinting that she knew too. But that's none of my business. Comment down below. Let me know if y'all caught that. Let me know if y'all caught that she was asserting dominance, talking about her romantic life with him. Let me know, because she for sure was. For sure enacted dominance. Weird. Now, let's talk about Jimmy. So I think Jimmy is, I think he's confused. I think he definitely liked Jessica more in the pods. I think he liked how like reassuring Chelsea was. And I think he liked her personality, but I do think he clicked more with Jessica. But I think Jessica, again, like Laura was doing, Jessica was just being very abrasive. She was being like she wasn't letting Jimmy be unsure about being a stepdad. Like, that's a very big load. And she kept saying that she understood, but then when he admitted that it was like a lot for him to think about, she kind of got really defensive. Jessica was very defensive. I mean, I get it, that's your baby, but you have to understand, like, being a stepdad to a 10-year-old child when you don't even have kids yet, like, that's a big role for anyone. Baby mama drama, like, that's a lot to tackle. What if he wasn't even ready to be a father at all, much less one to a stepdad, like, much less be a stepdad? So I think that was just stressful for him, and that's why he picked Chelsea, and I think Chelsea knew that. So, and yeah, again, I think he liked Chelsea's demeanor more, but then she, like, low-key switched up when they met, but whatever. Yeah, I think he handled himself pretty well in the pods, but when they met, I don't know, I just feel like Jimmy, again, he let the Megan Fox comment get to him, and just unfortunate. I just think that Jimmy is like your typical stereotypical man. I think Jimmy became fired the second that he went up to Chelsea and had the nerve to talk about AD's body. And then not only, so again, this was partially Chelsea's fault because you told him he could say whatever he want, but you should have your own set of you should have your own set of morals. Not only did Jimmy say that to his fiance about someone else's body, but he felt compelled to go up to AD. Now, I do think he was trying to make it seem less weird because Chelsea called him out. I think he was trying to make himself look less creepy, but he, like, twirled AD around. He was weird. Like, you just made yourself look more stupid by going to talk to her. And honestly, like, his motivations in that are really weird. I think he was trying to, like, clear the air, like, hey, sorry, what are you doing? And I think AD was just sitting there the whole time, like, okay, the freak, what the heck? Super weird. I just think that, like, it amazes me that people act that way and then they say they want to get married. That's just genuinely so bizarre to me. But whatever. So yeah, I think he became fired from the show, in my opinion, when he did that. There's no redeeming you, sir, because now I know you're looking at other people. Everybody has eyes, blah blah blah. I've never caught my man looking at somebody else, and I'm not being sarcastic, I'm not being naive. You get you a good man and you're the only girl in the world. So I think Jimmy, like, I think he sucks for that. Now, I will say, in their arguments, I do think he's handled the arguments pretty well, in terms of, like, when Chelsea's, like, coming at him, I think he's like, oh, I'm sorry, like, I do love you. I think he handles his arguments pretty well, at least in what he says. I don't know about his actions or his intentions, but I think that he handles the arguments pretty well. I think that he handles Chelsea's whining, complaining very well. However, we don't know what the action is going on behind that to make her feel that way, so we'll leave that up to interpretation. But there could potentially be, like, a lot of manipulation going on both ends in this relationship, and I think that they should break up. How could you be with a man that just said that about another woman's body in front of you? That's it. That's it for me. Anyways, so that's all I have to say about that. He's done. She's done. They're just doing too much. Moving on to the most disappointing couple on this season, Brittany and Kenneth. So I obviously saw myself in Brittany and Kenneth. I'm in an interracial relationship, and I'm definitely like aware of like what it takes to be in an interracial relationship. And honestly, I really, really, really liked Brittany, and I really liked Kenneth to start off with. I really, really did. And I was rooting for them. In the beginning, like, he was so kind and thoughtful. He was like doing things for her. I genuinely wonder if the conversation with AD got to him. Like, I wonder if he started being worried about the way that he was being perceived being in an interracial couple, because I think he started thinking about what his family might think and all these other things, which are valid points. I think that if that matters to you, then that's a valid point. They kind of fell off after that conversation. So I do wonder if that conversation got to him and he was like, oh, I actually don't know if I can handle being in an interracial relationship. I don't know if I want to be with someone of a different culture than me, of a different race than me. I don't want to deal with, you know, what my family might potentially say, like yada yada. And I think that's a valid point if he hadn't thought of that already. But it is unfortunate the way that he chose to let it unfold. Brittany did nothing to him to deserve that kind of treatment, at least as far as we know, on camera. Again, a lot of things can be edited, but we're pretending that nothing was edited. So I think that, like, she really tried. I think she, oh, I forgot to describe them in one word. So Brittany, I would describe Brittany as, I would describe Brittany as well-rounded. I think that Brittany had a good level of seriousness, but also understanding and being kind, and also having humor. Like, I just think she was a good, well-rounded individual. She had emotions, but she didn't let them consume her. She wasn't like in the drama. Like, I just think she was a good, well-rounded woman. And I thought the same about Kenneth originally, but Kenneth, I would say, is a narcissist. That's the first word I can think of, and I don't use that term lightly. Again, I do have a degree in psychology, so I do not like to apply stereotypical terms to people, and like self-diagnose people, but his personality was extremely narcissistic. First of all, why was it so freaking awkward on that boat? He was just like not into her at all. And like, what happened? What happened to make, like, I want to know what happened to make him be so turned off by her. I want to know, because it was like a light switch. Like, he was done. I don't even know. But basically, that was awkward. They were really nice, really cute when they met all the couples for the first time on the beach. Again, like, they were just enjoying each other's company. Kenneth was being a gentleman, all the things. And then again, like, on their date, he just got very awkward. He was saying that he thought he was too affectionate. She thought he could be more affectionate. She was nice about it. Just very confusing. But the way that Kenneth ended up manipulating her, he was like just sitting on his phone the whole time when they moved in together, not really having anything to do with her. And then even after that, he literally tuned out on her, but then he turned it against her. Like, and just instead of saying, oh, I'm not really feeling this, like, I'm out, he just manipulated her. And it was so sad to see because she was so nice. She was basically being vulnerable with him and saying, hey, I feel like, you know, you're tuned out, you don't care. Like, I just wish, she was saying, I just don't feel like we have that crave for each other. And he completely twisted her words and turned it around on her. He basically said, oh, well, if you don't crave me, then we shouldn't be together, bye. And he literally left. Like, he manipulated her, be like, I am doing this, I am doing that, if you don't like it, da-da-da-da. Like, he just really manipulated the crap out of her, and he was like, nah, I'm not really feeling it. Like, if you don't crave me, then maybe we shouldn't be together. And it's like, that's not what she said. She said she doesn't feel like you crave her. And you don't. Like, you're not acting like it. So, it hurt, man. Their relationship hurt. They were so cute together, and maybe it just wasn't meant to be. But I don't think that he had the right to disrespect her the way that he did and tune out on her and act like she was like scum beneath his shoe. And she was saying he came home late, and he was like, I work late, like, da-da-da. He was like, did I not tell you every step of the way? And she was like, yeah. Okay, you still didn't come home till late. Like, anyway, I don't know. You all saw it. You all saw how unfortunate and sad it was. But if y'all ever see a Kenneth in the world, run away, because that man is a narcissist. He literally took everything that she was vulnerable about and saying that she was sad about, and he twisted it to make her the blame and him the victim, and left her. And she was crying, and he sat on his phone and left and did not care. So he's done. He's done. He's gross. He's gotta go. Bye. Anyways, guys, that is all I have for you today. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Okay, yep, that's everybody. Alright guys, that's all I have for you. Those are all the couples, kind of a rundown on each one, my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed tuning into episode 2 of my For Those Who Overshare podcast. Again, leave me comments down below on what you would like to see in episode 3. It was so fun filming this lighthearted and fun podcast with you guys today, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.